Probably just once for the rest of the year. I'm just kidding. Listen, Take Out the Take is back on the ones and twos. I'm talking loud as the mic. Patrick's over here turning the mics and stuff up and down. First of all, I've done like 35 podcasts without you. He's busy though. The man wears cardigans and zip up sweaters and stuff now. He was a man of the people like 60 days ago, 90 days ago. Now he's got a haircut. He don't wear no Titans gear. I mean, his hands are manicured. I
don't know about that.
He got a sweater. He got a sweater zip-up jacket. He got a button down.
It's cold outside, bro.
If I didn't know any better, you would think that he works somewhere like on the Paramount lot, or he works out in Burbank somewhere. That's what you look like a director, like of a big motion picture. You do these.
That's good. That's the aesthetic
Feel
we're going
what
for.
it is. Producer Pat's back. Carl Prather. It's Take After Take. We hope that you enjoyed your Thanksgiving holiday. We're about to get into Thanksgiving food first because I need to make sure I can absolutely trust this man with his food choices. And you, our 7 listeners, we'll talk a little Christmas. And then there's been a few things that's happened in college football. I don't know if you all have known. You've been hiding under a rock. Just a few things.
A couple.
Just a couple of dollars here and there been exchanged hands there. How was Thanksgiving? How's the fam? What's new in your world?
Thanksgiving is good. You know, Thanksgiving is always one of my favorite holidays because I have people in my family that can actually cook. So
I rock with it.
I feel like if you're a grown up at certain, like when you're a kid, Christmas is everybody's favorite holiday, right? But at some point, I think you get old enough where like Christmas, you know, it is what it is. Now, obviously, if you have little kids, it's like I have, it's a little bit different. But like for me, my holiday is Thanksgiving.
Really? You know, I've heard more young adults say they love Thanksgiving, like it's one of their favorite holidays. For me, I could take it or leave it.
You could take it or what? Yeah. How?
Christmas and 4th of July, that's all I need.
4th of July is
4th of July is like
4th of July is beginning to get its flowers for how awesome it is.
It's better when you're a young adult.
That is true. That is true.
I want my shirt off and I want to be in some piece of water.
But you don't like Thanksgiving just laying around eating food, watching football. Like now there's football on for like 6 days straight.
Here's the problem though, Patrick. And you know with what we do. So, case in point, this past Thanksgiving, the last few Thanksgivings, but especially this Thanksgiving, went up to Kentucky, visit Lindsay's folks in Bardstown, Kentucky. My parents went to Arkansas to visit my mom's sister and their families. My grandmother passed away, her mom, New Year's Eve of last year. So that was the first one with them there. So they went there. But for us, Patrick, it's a quick trip. We go up. I left on Tuesday night from here. I went there on Wednesday, did Thanksgiving on Thursday, but turned right back around on Friday to come here because we had high school football teams left in the semifinals. And then from there, it was the Iron Bowl. And then, I think I laid down last Sunday morning at like 5:45 and then turned right around and went back to Auburn for Alex Golish's press conference on Monday morning. So from Saturday through Monday night at 8 p.m. for 72 hours or so, 38 of those were in Auburn and 14 of them were in a car. You know what I mean? Like, but that's kind of like for the last decade or so, like this kind of been the common occurrence. There's been 1 year, I believe in my head, that we just didn't have anybody in the semifinals. Yeah. So it was kind of cool. But even then, you still have to come back on Friday to get prepared to drive to Alabama or Auburn anyway. So I like Thanksgiving. It's fun. The only thing is, as an adult, relative to what I do, I would love to have like that Friday to like really kick it. And going into the weekend,
which is what I have.
See, that's what I'm saying. Nice. See, you get to lay out, you get to lay around, you eat. You having a few adult sodas. You know what I'm saying? Or 17.
See, I don't know. It's kind of is it not faux pas to kind of drink around the family at Thanksgiving?
Do what?
Well, it's just it's your grandma. You don't want to be drinking around grandma, dude.
Granny probably got her cup.
Well, yeah, but she's sneaking it.
Little sneak. Yeah, she got a little cup.
I think as the more I've gotten like online, I think that's very much a very like either there's like Midwest and Northern families, alcohol's at the family function. In the South, I still feel like that's it. If I brought alcohol to a Thanksgiving, people be like, "What are you?
Oh no, dog.
What are you doing?
Oh no, dog. You gotta have all the fixings. You sit around, you laugh, you conversate. You got the uncles and stuff in the backyard. We don't know what they concocting back there in the back. A lot of liquid stuff going on up in the back there.
All right.
Yeah, that may be a little cultural thing. I don't think that's a cultural thing.
We might be, yeah. This might be like a cultural, like this might be a rush hour type of situation we got going on here.
Look, dog. I do love Thanksgiving for that stuff. I just wish I could. Thanksgiving was real cool. College, high school, you know. But I think it's more fun as like a young adult or an adult now, just because you know everybody. I don't care who you are, no matter what family you're in. There's factions to the people that you haven't seen in a while or whatever. Like you got the crazy uncle, you got the crazy aunt, you got the funny person, you got the person that's quiet to themselves. Somebody's gonna have a heated debate. There's gonna be multiple heated debates. There's gonna be talk about football. There's gonna be talk about basketball. The whole night. So like I get it. Like I do enjoy Thanksgiving, but if I had a hierarchy of like favorite holidays, it's Christmas. It's Christmas number 1 and 4th of July. And I like Christmas more now. This is as crazy as it sounds. I like Christmas more now, or maybe I should say I appreciate it more now as an adult than I did as a kid. Because your kid, I mean, obviously it's toys and all that stuff. We got kids, so toys and stuff like that. But I just love the fact that they get to do what they want to do, and I don't do anything. Peace is all I need. Yeah. I look for more to these handful of days that I have upcoming for like Christmas more than anything relative to just we're so freaking busy. So just to have some peace and just to sit Christmas Eve, just to sit around, I don't sleep. So just to be up until maybe midnight-ish, 1, 2 in the morning, go to bed. He's going to wake up like he's trying to tailgate at an SEC game at 5, try to get into these presents. We're up half the day. Everybody eats. I do chicken and waffles, do fried chicken strips and waffles. Then I make a big Thanksgiving-like type dinner, like that we'll eat off of, you know, the day of Christmas, maybe the day after Christmas or something like that. Yeah. But it's just that time around that time is cool because it's just I don't have to do anything. Yeah. Everybody just lay back and cool because think about it, the chaos. Like what the second to last Friday of August through this Friday will be my first Friday off since the second Friday of August. And then, you know, the college football season rolls in and stuff. We're about to be at the end of that. We don't know what Alabama's going to do, what they're not going to do. But it's kind of like at the end. But this is just it's a marathon. So I kind of appreciate it now more Christmas time than ever. But let me tell you something before we get into Thanksgiving food. How somebody doesn't like 4th of July? I don't understand. No shirt on. I got the smallest swimming trunks on known to man. Now, I appreciate a lake. We live in the South. We got a lot of lake type water, but I like salt water. If I can try to make my way down to some beach of some sort or some pool, you got me. There's nothing like 4th of July. I need the whole day. Brings a tear to my eye just thinking about it right now. Love it.
So you like the halfway point 4th of July. You like the end of the year, man. Christmas. Those are your two.
That's it.
Spaced out good.
That's it. Thanksgiving is your favorite holiday?
It's up there.
It's up there?
It really is up there.
It's good. It's good. I mean, I'm not hating
I enjoy the food, and the way that it is, like, I usually take that Wednesday off. So, man, it's like, I get 5 days and do nothing. Now, I've had to scale back on the Thanksgiving leftovers. You can only really do Thanksgiving leftovers for me, the way that I eat, for about 2 days before you're like, okay, I put 6.5 pounds on. Like, it's time to get it together.
It's almost like your body knows that this is coming.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just I believe that you have a Thanksgiving food withdrawals because you're eating such large amounts of it, and once the Thanksgiving leftovers are gone, or you disperse of said leftovers, the mere fact that your body's like, I want to eat half of the house, you have to wane yourself back onto like a regulatory eating, which is tough. However, as we transition into Thanksgiving food, I got to ask you one question because I know this is probably a cultural question. I'm gonna ask this because I've had this debate for the last 3 Thanksgivings. I had this debate this past Thanksgiving. You make green bean casserole?
Love it.
I do.
Love it.
I do it. I do. Why
love green bean casserole.
Bro, why?
It has to be prepared right. You got to season it up. No. So you got to season it up right. Because
what's in some cream of something up in there?
Cream of mushroom, yeah.
Oh, no.
It's green bean, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, somebody can fact check me on this. I believe green bean casserole was invented by Campbell's to sell more cream of mushroom soup. I could be wrong. I think I heard that on a podcast one time. No, I love green bean casserole. Crispy onions on top. I do. I'm not joking. Love it.
Have you ever had broccoli casserole?
Yeah.
We had one of Lindsay's in-laws family had a broccoli casserole. I just completely bypassed it. I'm not a cream-based type person. Don't like fettuccine Alfredo.
What was that?
I don't like fettuccine Alfredo.
Okay, that's the
I don't
second
like
time
that.
you got it.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that's why I don't eat it. I don't like that. I don't like any kind of cream, like cream of mushroom, anything. I'm not doing all that. But yeah, green bean casserole, nah, bro. I don't know if I can trust a lot of people that eat green bean casserole.
That's good. Try something that my wife makes. You like it.
Nah, cuz.
You like it.
I'm good.
No, you like it. Piping hot. Perfect. Now, sweet potato casserole, kind of a hot take. I only eat it as a dessert. It does not go on the main plate with everything else.
That's my issue.
Sweet potato casserole comes after.
Oh, sweet potato casserole. Okay, but the green bean casserole is a main dish.
Green bean casserole, you have your main plate. You stack it up. Rookie move is everybody tries to go horizontal. You want to go vertical with it so you can get more on it. You want the mashed potatoes to go up high so you can put more stuff on the plate. Then when you get done, you come back for the dessert. That's when I hit the sweet potato casserole.
I don't like sweet potatoes either.
I love sweet potatoes.
Yeah, I'm not a sweet potato fan. I've had it. It's whatever. I don't eat sweet potatoes. I listen. Every person in the United States of America for Thanksgiving, you have to have macaroni and cheese. You have to. If you don't remotely have that, you gotta have at least mashed potatoes. People really hate on turkey, and I understand. You don't normally eat turkey any other time of the year outside of a sandwich, right? Nobody's just saying I'm going to go buy a turkey, right? It's once a year. Cats can't season it right, maybe dry, whatever. I had a really good turkey. Lindsay's dad did a fantastic turkey. It's tender, very seasoned. But you got to have like turkey. And, I know people do like steaks and stuff. I could have it. I'm cool with it. But I want like ribs and I want some collards. And you can be any kind of green. Collard, turnip, mixed greens. You give me any of them. I can have any of that. Got to have some rolls. Lindsay's dad was a really good cook in the Army and military. So like outside of Special Forces and all that. So like it's fantastic. Stuffing. If you don't like stuffing, if a person doesn't like stuffing, I really can't trust them.
It's called dressing, by the way. But
stuffing and dressing.
I agree with you.
Stuffing and dressing?
Well, no, they're not the same.
Yes, they are.
Stuffing,
yes, they are. Stuffing and dressing.
No.
Either way.
Chicken and dressing.
Chicken and dressing?
That's what it is. Yeah, that's what you call it.
You can say stuffing. Get out of here, dude.
No, it's not stuffing.
You like you like stovetop stuffing?
No, that's not how you do that.
That's not how you do it, but it's good.
No, it's not.
Instant. Yes, hold on.
No,
Hold on. You about to hate on.
No,
Hold
it's
on.
not. Outside
of grandmas and pawpaws and grands and ninis and stuff, I get to getting your hands in it and making the dressing and stuff and making it fantastic. But don't hate on that stovetop, dog. That stovetop be slappy. Yes, it does. You know it does. You know it does.
No,
you don't want to admit it. But you know it does.
No, it does not.
It does.
It does not. It's called dressing. Chicken and dressing.
Chicken and dressing.
Chicken and dressing.
You got a couple pieces of shredded chicken in the dressing and stuff.
Yeah.
I miss okay.
Celery, onions, bunch of sage, a lot of seasoning,
I'll tell you
cornbread.
what, boy, Kobe, maybe we one of the same. You know how to do okay. You like greens?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ribs.
Yeah, not the kind that you cooked it that we've talked about before.
I can't tell. You played it like Sasha flute when you ate it, so I can't tell.
I was hungry that day.
That's what it was. That's what it was. I was hungry that day. I can't tell. You was out there playing it with like the clarinet, the way you ate it. Hell.
I was hungry that day.
Yeah, you was hungry that day. Yeah, everything was gone. It could be, man, had to be something worth the damn. That's all I know. Christmas. What's the baby's right there to ask for everything. What do you get it? Well, you can't say that because they may listen to this thing. Amanda may have them listen to it. Are they excited? Are they hyped about just that entire time? Do they believe in Kris Kringle still? How does it all work?
Yeah, so we got the elf on the shelf. He's made his return. Figgy the elf. So he comes out. He came out December 1st. So we are constantly kind of moving him around. But no, everybody loves Kris. Kids love Kris.
Kris is fantastic. I don't know one. I've not met one person, and I get it. From an emotional standpoint, you maybe lost loved ones or whatever it may be. But for the most part, I very rarely have ever heard of anyone saying like, I despise Christmas.
You think the state of Mississippi is going to give Lane Kiffin a Christmas card?
Mm-hmm.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 number ones that you saw at the Oxford airport. That's what two of them, not one. 2 number ones as we transition into.
How you like that segue, by the way?
I know it's fantastic. College football.
Back in full force.
I tell you what. With this outfit you got on and stuff like that, you look very debonair today.
Thank you.
It's like you tried, but you didn't try. And you got a haircut.
And that's the point. I did get a haircut.
You shaved. Face is shaved.
Well, it's always clean shaven. Yeah, I can't grow facial hair.
You can't grow facial hair?
No, not even close.
I grow facial hair. It's like Teddy Pendergrass. My beard look like Teddy Pendergrass. Now if I can put some of this on my face on top of my head,
yeah,
then Bring them days back, them high school, college days. It's all gone now. 43, boy, do something to you. All right, man. Look, I don't know if you know this or not. There's been a few coaches that have moved. I don't know. I guess we just need to go ahead and just rip the Band-Aid off. One, Lane Kiffin. That man that left his dog. They threw his rack of clothes. Looked like they came from Nordstrom's or JCPenney. They out on the street. He had to run out in the middle of the night. Got on the tarmac. Again. Part 3. Yeah. Okay, so initial thoughts. Forget being named head coach in Baton Rouge for this time being. I just want to ask you, because this is our first time discussing this since this all happened 2 weeks prior to the Egg Bowl. Your thoughts on just the journey to get to said point day after Egg Bowl win, 11 wins on the year, first time in history heading to said playoffs, and Lane Kiffin for the 2 weeks prior to said Egg Bowl discussing staying at Ole Miss, going to potential Florida and Gainesville, or heading to Baton Rouge.
So two things can be wrong at the same time, just like two things can be right at the same time. The college football schedule is absolutely to blame for this fiasco as well. However, Lane's handling of this is also to blame for this whole fiasco. The part that I just found absolutely humorous was this, there's the will he, won't he, and then my heart is in Ole Miss, and I love Ole Miss. Also, I will take the entire coaching staff with me and burn this bridge down while I'm still standing on it if you do not allow me to coach the Ole Miss Rebels in the college football playoff, which is asinine to think that would be even possible. I mean, I think Scott Van Pelt put it best where he was like, if you had a spouse and they came to you and said, I'm getting a divorce, I want a divorce, I'm going to go with the neighbor across the street, but I also want to stay here in the house for the kids because of Christmas. And you'd be like, no, you can go on and we'll figure out all this without you. It's egotistical. It's been tough to kind of be, and I love Lane Kiffin. I've always loved Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, because you wanted to be the head coach of the Titans. That's why.
It's, yeah, I did. I don't know if I want.
No. Now we're in reverse court. Now we're back.
Yeah, now we're. It's been tough to be a Lane defender. And I think that obviously Charlie Weiss Jr. is back as the offense coordinator. Don't know what happened there. I would love to be in the room to figure out how he came back and to get back on the plane. That was a very humorous return he had to Oxford with the fans out there. Charlie Weiss Jr. just trying to get back to the facility. I think Pete Golden's going to do a good job. I don't think a lot of people had Ole Miss winning the championship, even with one Lane Kiffin, but stranger things have happened. And if you don't have anybody to root for in these football playoffs, I mean, you have the baby face of all baby faces now in the Ole Miss Rebels led by Pete Golden, right?
You do. You mentioned that two things can be wrong at the same time. Two things can be true at the same time as well.
Yeah.
I understand where anyone, including the two men that are in this room recording this podcast on a Wednesday, could understand. No, you're not going to coach said team, all while you potentially can recruit guys while we're winning at Ole Miss. And then when the season is over, said guys that have really helped you within this organization and program can go with you to Baton Rouge. No.
Like, that's crazy to think that you can do that, right?
Here's the problem, and I truly believe this. I hate to bring this man's name up because I don't think you hate anything more than you hate Brian Kelly.
Yeah,
but I've said this to you. Top. I've said this to you, and I've never spoke with anyone on the beat of Notre Dame and those that love Notre Dame as a fan of that program. I truly believe Brian Kelly could have continued to elevate Notre Dame into a hierarchy of what Marcus Freeman kind of has this as right now from a resource standpoint, things that may have been a detriment to Notre Dame in the past relative to other programs in college football. If he knew how to, as I like to say, play the game in the sense of being a human and ingratiating yourself with others. because you were such a good football coach at Notre Dame and winning the games that you won, having a losing record, completely overhauling your staff, bouncing back, reaching the college football playoff, played in a national championship game, albeit got your brains beat in. But the level that Notre Dame was there relative to pre-Brian Kelly was great. But here's what you can't do. You can't go to a national championship game all while trying to get the Philadelphia Eagles job. You can't also go to college football playoff jobs and hourly be interviewing for other jobs. You can't have some other issues that went on there, whether you believe this, don't believe this, off the field, as we've discussed, if you've discussed ad nauseum, tragedy happened within your football program that you may have been around. Same thing at LSU. Had another issue there with a player. I'm saying all that to say, I don't think that fans were admins, people in the Notre Dame building and facility, and this is just me speaking and reading from afar. I don't think that they were I don't think they were too sad when he took the job to LSU. You can just see how this looks relative to what Notre Dame is now. This is Wednesday, December 3rd at 4:44, Make-A-Wish p.m. Notre Dame arguably may have the best recruiting class they've had since probably a couple of years after I got out of college. So I would say 07, 08, 09. 4 players that are composite top 50, 26, 27 kids that, I mean, just the gamut. Number 1 in recruiting in some sites, top 5, top 6 at worst. All of the things that they're giving Marcus Freeman and his staff and the cash and the NIL and the whole I don't think that's a coincidence that happens because A, we know Marcus Freeman is a hell of a football coach, but the way he treats people and handles people.
He was on the Today Show this morning.
On the Today Show this morning. Now, maybe that may have a little bit of politics so you could be in the college football playoff on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
But I circle this all back around to one Lane Kiffin for this sole reason. I don't think anyone's dumb enough to not understand that, much like Keith Carter mentioned, if you go on social media and he's kind of made his rounds this week, Keith Carter, former basketball player there, lives in Ole Miss, is Ole Miss true and true. No one is dumb enough to think, as this started leaking out 4 weeks ago, that Lane Kiffin was interested and Florida was pursuing him and Ole Miss wanted to still keep him and LSU was pursuing him. I don't think anybody didn't understand. Lane Kiffin asked at that time, could he coach the team? But see, you know what Lane Kiffin did? Lane Kiffin tried to play the long game. Lane Kiffin wanted to, this is my opinion, hadn't spoke to anyone, this is Carl Prather's opinion, and that's it. Let me reach out to Keith Carter and the Chancellor of Ole Miss to see if they'll let me coach this team all while I decide to go where I want to go. No. 3 weeks come by. Let me try this again and let me try to smooth the waters. No. 2 weeks, let's try to do this. No. It got down to the week after the Egg Bowl. They said no. So then he wanted to burn it down. But a lot of that has to do with, Lane, you're an excellent football coach. God has blessed you with a gift. But it's the outside and all of the things that we don't know about that players and people are now starting to come out to discuss about one Lane Kiffin in and around that building. And I believe that, my personal opinion, if Lane Kiffin would have understood where Keith Carter and Chancellor were coming from, but wanted to nip this in the bud and just say, listen, I just want to coach my guys. We have made some unprecedented history here together. We have won 11 games. Hadn't done this in over 100 years. We have an opportunity to win our first national championship, I think, 1960. I don't want to recruit any of these guys here. This is where I want to go. A finality to it all 4 weeks ago. And then I believe, in my personal opinion, Keith Carter probably said, we can make this work. But see, you know what Lane Kiffin wants to do? See, Lane Kiffin has the moniker of one of those guys that doesn't feel like he truly belongs as one of the nation's elite blue blood coaches. You get this a lot in college basketball, Patrick, with guys that don't get those 5 to 7 creme de la creme jobs in college basketball. over the last 100 years. And it's kind of that second rung of guys. And they always are scratching, clawing, fighting to be accepted by the mainstream public of fans to be in the upper crest of those jobs. And Lane Kiffin, from a youngster or a young coach, you had the opportunity to get the SC job. You had an opportunity to be the coach of the Raiders. Those didn't work out. The Tennessee job. And you had to circle the block and you had to make your way through what some may consider secondary B-level, B-, B+ jobs at jobs that you could win, but it takes a whole hell of a lot of work to be able to do them. And I truly believe for the first time since pre-Wunderkind, LA Raiders, USC, Tennessee, that I've had to navigate my way. And I'm at a point where people consider me one of the 8 to 9 best coaches in all of college football. And I want to ride this thing till the wheels fall off and enjoy the adulation of people recognizing me as one of the very best coaches in college football. But see, that can also play against you at a detriment to yourself. Which leads us to, why in the world is anyone in the last, let's just say 15 years, that love college football, that sickos like myself, why are y'all surprised with this whole ordeal with Lane Kiffin? He has shown you this. This is what happens. Tennessee, you're a kick away from beating Nick Saban and having Tennessee beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. That doesn't work out. Violations there from a recruiting standpoint. SC doesn't work out. The Raiders make you I believe the youngest head coach in NFL history at that time. That didn't work out. And here we are, Alabama. Nick Saban, of all coaches, fired you during a semifinal of a college football playoff. Like you didn't coach because of all of the things on the outside. Now, E60 documentary was fantastic. Loved it. It was great. Based almost kind of like, I don't know Lane. I've never met Lane in my life besides at SEC media days and in the halls. But the piece of kind of, this is who I am. This is what I am now. I believe all of that. Not drinking anymore. Healthy. Yoga, hot yoga, whole nine. But you know what always comes out? When the rubber meets the road and it's time to go job hunt. And what we saw in the last 4 weeks is what Lane Kiffin wants to do. Now, I pose this question to LSU. For the sake of argument, let's say he coaches there 7 years. Let's say they win 3 national championships. We know at LSU is arguably one of the 3 best jobs in all of college football, Patrick. Let's just say for the sake of argument, 7 years, he wins 3 of them. In those 7 years, 5 SEC championship games. He wins 4 SEC championships. He goes to the playoff every year. He's 50, I believe, on the nose. That make him 56, 57. In your right mind, do you not believe that if an NFL job comes or another job comes around, he's going to have that itch to do the same thing? I'll go play devil's advocate here. What if it doesn't work out at LSU? Now, much like he mentioned in his introductory press conference, it's LSU. You got to at least try it. He doesn't know if it's going to work. But the sheer idea for that man to feel like he's at a job that the elites of the elites can covet and look at and say, that's a crown jewel job. From a motivational standpoint, a competitor standpoint, I get it. He just wants to feel like he belongs in the annals of Nick Saban, his mentor, and Pete Carroll, his mentor, and people that he truly cares about that have kind of watched him from afar. But none of this should surprise anyone that's watched college football. This is a shock to the casual fan that has had Lane Kiffin in the headlines and in social media for the last 4 weeks.
Well, it's also, we've never seen this with a team that is at least on paper, capable of winning a championship, and a coach just being like, nah, I'm going to take this other job.
And it goes back to 2 years ago when we started this podcast. We're just in a world of college football where the common public, the casual fan, the sicko diehard fans like ourselves that love this sport, everyone from afar has to recalibrate their minds of the way this works. If you think this is the only time this is ever going to happen, right, wrong, or indifferent, if you think this is it, brother, I got a lot of water to sell you in the middle of Death Valley. This is just the beginning. And what's going to probably happen, I hope, fingers crossed, you're going to have to, as you mentioned, this is not a Lane Kiffin issue. This is an NCAA or college football issue. So now you're going to have to rework this calendar to make this work. I heard more new head coaches being asked this during introductory press conferences from Monday to Tuesday. Every one of them is basically said, this calendar's flawed, man. Like, it's just too much. I get introduced on Monday. If you're fortunate enough to be able to coach your former team, you still got to go back and coach your former team if you're in conference championships or have a chance to finish the deal. Signing day was today. This is kind of now out of nowhere instead of the first Wednesday in February. Now this is like the majority, 95% of Power 4 conference rosters from a prospect standpoint, they're getting signed today. They're going to be enrolled in class January and going through workouts for bowls and all that stuff. Then the transfer portal is going to happen for once a year. Now that's moving into January. So there's going to have to be a way, much like we've kind of moved to the NFL model with a playoff and a true national champion, you're going to have something where coaches, much like we've recognized in college football, in the NFL, that you have to play football until your team is eliminated or said season's over. You cannot talk to it's a moot point. And I think that's where you're going to drive to. I've mentioned this for the last 2 years with you. I've mentioned for the last 3 or 4 years. I think common knowledge, beat writer, public national college football writer has mentioned this as well. We are moving toward this NFL model. This is 2025. By 2035, we're going to have 64, an even number of teams, and we're going to have 6 total divisions, 3 divisions. You're going to have a conference champion, another conference champion, and then you're going to have a national champion. This is what this is going to go to. It's only a matter about TV deals, and if you're going to keep said conferences by name in regions to make up the divisions. That's nor here nor there. That's a long way from here. But do I think Lane Kiffin will be successful? I have a hard time believing that. I thought that Brian Kelly was going to be successful. And to some extent, outside of a national championship and outside of this disastrous of a year, you can't say that it was a disaster, but relative to the guys that you had come before you, that I believe man to man, woman to woman, true serum, you would believe Brian Kelly from a coaching standpoint is better than those previous 2 guys. But you know what those previous 2 guys have that you mentioned? You got to win that national championship. I think that LSU is spoiled from the standpoint of you were able to see that. And here you bring a guy, whether the word fit, which I hate using now, fit or didn't fit coming down to the Bayou, you thought that you got a sitting coach at Notre Dame that maybe, quote unquote, had restrictions come to Baton Rouge, where it's the only show in town, and you have Swamp Things just rolling around. We talked about it yesterday. That are in the state. So, ultimately, you thought that was going to work. You don't go spend $90 million if you do not believe that Lane Kiffin can take you over the top for you all to be one of the most dominant programs in all of college football year in and year out. It will be interesting. Do I think it will work? I do. I just don't know what extent is it going to work to.
And what's it going to look like when it ends? Because LSU, more so than maybe any job in America, the governor's involved in it. The governor was involved in the firing of Brian Kelly. You're going to have to navigate a lot of interpersonal relationships. And Lane seems like, from his history, maybe that's not his strong suit. Maybe he's better suited to just the X's and O's. And when it comes to the politicking, the maintaining those relationships, he is lackluster, to say the least, in that department. I think that's why, you heard those reports, pretty explosive coaches meeting when he was announcing to his staff. None of the guys on the defensive side of the ball got on the plane. And Pete Golding, apparently when he was announced, there was an eruption from the coaches and the players alike. So you got all the resources at LSU. I mean, just
everything.
Recruiting the state as a whole. That's all you have to do to win. But you better, the goal is not 9 wins or 10 wins. The goal is national championship wins. There are 3 past head coaches at LSU who have done it, and the expectation is that Lane Kiffin will be the 4th.
What in the world is next year at Vaught Hemingway Stadium going to be like?
Oh, it's going to be an electric atmosphere.
What will the ticket price be for that thing?
Quite a bit. And I'm sure Lane Kiffin will do his victim dance, which he's practiced this past week playing the victim. That's the thing that's kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Is it like, I wanted to coach a team, but they wouldn't let me. It's like, yeah, doofus. No, they're not going to let you do that. Are you stupid?
Fascinating. And regardless of how you feel about this ordeal with Lane Kiffin, how it was handled, how it ultimately ended, college football for the last 60 days, more importantly, the last 14, 15 days, has been at the forefront of all of sports.
Oh, it's got more drama than like any reality show.
And it's the very reason why when we started this 2 Julys ago, we said, and I said, we're on the precipice of this sport exploding for 2 reasons. More teams are coming to the competitive party to compete for playoff berths. And it's open for more fan bases across the country to be a part of it. And these moments in college football are only going to continue to enhance it. Right, wrong, or indifferent, drama or drama-less, it just enhances the world of college football. And I've said this, I just continue to believe as we continue to move through the years and hit to 20, 30 plus, college football is going to be one of the sports that you have to watch, and it's must-watch TV, and it's kind of taking its own life and its own foothold in kind of the annals of what we consider like drivers in sports. So I'm super excited about it. That was just, the Lane Kiffin deal was just super fascinating. Without Lane Kiffin, or with Lane Kiffin rather, you had 5 other coaches within the Southeastern Conference get hired. The Auburn Tigers had an opportunity to hire a coach as well, fresh off an Iron Bowl. They came up just short 27-20 to Alabama. Alex Golish becomes the new head coach for the Auburn Tigers, 33rd head coach in program history. Kaylee Tinglestad, my teammate in sports, and myself went there for that. That was a crazy, wild world. We were in that car. It was crazy. Been great. It didn't work that way. It'd been great if they just were like, hey, yeah, we're going to have a press conference on Monday. We just would just stay the whole entire weekend, right?
Yeah.
The drive to, for those following at home, we are in Huntsville, Alabama, the northernmost part of the state. So it's 3.5 hours to get to Auburn. So that's 7 hours basically round trip to get there to and from. But I like Alex. It is really cool to see Auburn if things did not work out the way that it was allegedly supposed to work out with one John Summerall, who's now the head coach at Florida. More on him in a moment. I don't know where this would have went if Alex Golish said no. He did not get hired. From what I've been told with those that are in the know, it was pretty close to being the Arkansas head coach, and he reversed course, and John Cohen and company kind of got him to buy on. He's going to keep DJ Durkin as a defensive coordinator. Just your initial thoughts on Alex Golish, South Florida. He's a disciple of Josh Heupel. That's probably before he took the USF job, is how I knew him there with Hendon Hooker in the offense that they ran. But good hire, bad hire? Your thoughts?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, me too.
I think I think they got a really good coach.
I do.
He has given Alabama fits in the past.
Yeah.
So if you are an Auburn fan, that's all you really care about at the end of the day, right? I think he's a good recruiter. I think he's a good X's and O coach. Again, I think that Auburn job, again, one of those jobs where your ability to manage some of those relationships that are down there with some of the boosters and some of the people in charge is a big part of the job. I think he's going to be able to do that. I think he's charismatic enough to get people. I think him bringing along Cody Burns is also a slam dunk.
Awesome.
Like, that's a smart move. I think him keeping DJ Durkin, whether he wanted to or was forced to, whatever, I think DJ Durkin's a good coach.
He is.
And I hope that things don't get weird there. I think that's what you always worry about when the interim head coach stays on is like, okay, do factions then develop either amongst the players or some administration, If Alex loses a couple games, is somebody going to be like, I told y'all we should have just kept Durkin. Like the defense was top 10 in the nation in all these key categories. I think Auburn's going to be just fine. I really do.
I do too. Listen, opinion only. I think that it was imperative that DJ had to maybe stay in the fray just because he's so well liked by that roster and to be able to have a little bit of a roster retention. I think it was probably important for that piece of the puzzle to kind of be finalized.
Well, in his unit that he led was one of the best units in the SEC. He just had an anemic offense on the other side.
Yeah, and I mean, put it this way. If I were a betting man and I had to bet that DJ Durkin was going to be the head coach Saturday afternoon at kickoff, as soon as the ball went in the air, I would have told you he was going to be the next head coach. If he would have won that game, I really think he was going to be the next head coach.
Yeah.
With all of that said, it ended the way that it ended, and in my personal opinion, actually ended up way better. I think Alex, because of his youth, how young he is, can grow into this position, but more importantly, be there and kind of make return Auburn back to the glory that we all kind of know it's accustomed to be, and have that offense going there. And like you mentioned, it doesn't hurt that you have DJ Durkin who can retain players. That unit can come back in some sort of fashion. You'll be able to pay guys and keep guys on payroll there as well. Persuade maybe some guys there. But then, of course, more importantly, you're going to hit the transfer portal too. Auburn's an amazing university. Auburn's an amazing program. One of the best jobs, not only in the SEC,
town sells
football.
itself.
Yes,
when
it's amazing.
You get down there, it sells itself.
Auburn is a truly magical place. I've said this, and SEC fans may feel some type of way, but for me, with the environments that I've been to, the Tiger Stadiums, Jordan-Hare Stadium with Auburn and LSU are, to me, the best ones in the league. Florida's good when it's really rocking. All of them have their own right to consider themselves the best environment. But Jordan-Hare at night, being in that environment on Saturday night, being a part of that, it's incredible. Being at Tiger Stadium, I haven't been to Tiger Stadium, and I've just been to day games. You were there. Did you all go to? You went to a night game, or did it end up? The game ended at night with Alabama and LSU. Did you go to that a couple of years ago with Paloma?
Mm-hmm. It was a night game.
It was a night game. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Incredible atmosphere, right?
Yeah,
it's rocking out there. But yeah, Auburn can sell itself. You can recruit in state. You can recruit Georgia. The pipelines are there. I think Alex is going to be excellent. I do. I think he's going to be excellent. I think for the first time in quite a while, all 16 programs, to me, have coaches, if all things are, for the most part, what I mean by equal, not saying dollars and cents, NIL dollars and cents, but just coaching acumen is as good as we've had in quite some time. I think all 16 can flat out go get it. We mentioned outside of Lane Kiffin and Alex Golish, John Summerall, Huntsville native, became the head coach of Florida. I will be brutally honest. I think that John's going to do an amazing job there. I think that relative to what type of coach he is, the type of recruiter he is, I think that that's going to work out really, really well at Florida relative to the resources that you have as well at your disposal. I think he's going to do a fantastic job. Still kind of finalizing. No one's heard from what type of staff he has. But once again, it goes back to what I mentioned. Now, here you have one coach that has a team that he left in New Orleans that he returned back to, playing for an American Athletic Conference championship against North Texas, and Eric Morris, who's the new head coach at Oklahoma State. They're both back coaching their teams. I believe Eric is coaching his team. But yeah, and both leaving. But their university said, their new universities and programs and institutions said, by all means, go back and coach your team. It goes back to how you handle people, treat people, and the optics of it all. Those things matter in life. Whether we all want to believe it or not, those things matter. And it doesn't matter. People can read, Patrick, you can read through it like a hot knife through butter. You know if somebody's being, more importantly, truthful or believable, and you truly believe that it's genuine. But you know people that are full of you know what, and you can see straight through it. All you need to know is All the coaches that got new jobs, their former employers, ADs, chancellors, presidents, go on social media. Go read them. Go see what Tulane said about John Summerall. Go read what they said about Eric Morris. Go see what South Florida said about Alex Golish. Glowing remarks. But it's how you treat people. It's how you deal with people, how you ingratiate people. That's part of it. Being a part of this.
And especially when you have your reputation will precede you. And you have, and Kiffin has at least 5 of the messiest exits of any, not just pro, college, any football coach of all time. It's from tarmac to, being fired for the national semifinal. Not to bring up all the off the field stuff that has also happened. And the fact the dog wasn't his, tweeting for me. That's also crazy. Bro, the dog's not yours.
Not yours.
You've been tweeting from that account? And you're 50? That's the thing that's crazy.
Dog lovers are going ham-bone on that.
Well, and you're 50, dude. Like, at some point, it's not cute anymore. At some point, it's like, it's that scene in Step Brothers, the tuxedos seem a little effed up. Like, at some point, it's like, hey, man, this was cool when you were 35. This was also cool when you were doing it, and it was like, ha, 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 like, but I'm a changed man, but like I'm on, and I don't know, and just burning down the whole entire program on your way out is that's a choice. I wouldn't do it.
Nah, I'm good.
It's a choice.
I'm good. But Lane beats to his own drum, as we know.
Yeah, and again, Lane, no one's upset that you took the LSU job. Like, everyone knows LSU job is better than Ole Miss. It's the fact that you were willing and threatening to burn everything down in your wake for these guys who, at least for the past 6 years, you have told, I love you. I'm in this. We are in this thing together. There are some players on Ole Miss who they're not going to get a chance to play in the NFL because they're not good enough. They're damn good college football players, but you're just not good enough to play in the NFL. And they are looking at potentially the last game being the last time they ever put on pads and play competitive football. And you were willing to rip that chance away from them to serve yourself. I find it really hard if I was a parent of a 17, 18-year-old kid and Lane comes and sits down at my dinner table, we're going to have that discussion. And I'm going to look at you a certain type of way. I think any parent would. Because they're going to feed you, oh, no, it's all about the kids. It's all about kids. I had hoped that Lane Kiffin had changed, and I guess I bought into the propaganda. But Lane is all about Lane. And, hey, LSU, sometimes people make deals with the devil and it works out. Sometimes it don't. And, if you get a national championship out of it, great.
What if you don't?
What if you don't?
I'm just going to throw that out there.
What if you don't?
What if you don't? Time will tell. I think he's going to have high success there.
High expectations.
But it's going to be, the expectations are unreal and through the roof.
They fired Brian Kelly after 3 seasons.
1 SEC championship game appearance, a Heisman Trophy winner, and 2 10-win seasons.
Yeah, so
brother,
that's not good enough.
That's not good enough for them. That's what they've told. They have told us in said actions that makes us believe that's not good enough. Ryan Silverfield, the new head coach at Arkansas, previously the head coach at Memphis. Will Stein gets his first head coaching job. Louisville native, played for the Louisville Cardinals. I remember Will when he was in Trinity High School and coming up through the ranks, and quarterback at Louisville, played a handful of games there as a starter there, going and coaching the rival of Louisville for that Governor's Cup, and going to coach the Kentucky Wildcats there. Mark Stoops, who did an unbelievable job in Kentucky relative to the expectation of that job as he became the head coach. That man's about to get $37 million in 60 days. 37 of them things. And 60 days from now. I'm good.
Yeah.
I think he'd be okay.
And his Kentucky said nice things about him, too.
Said amazing things about him, right? Isn't that something? Who am I leaving out? Who else? Let's go. Lane Kiffin to LSU. John Summerall to Florida. We said we believe John's going to do a fantastic job. We think Lane, we don't see how this doesn't, at least the first few years, go really well. Ryan Silverfield at Arkansas. Will Stein at Kentucky. Alex Golish at Auburn. And then who's my 6th coach? I'm just trying to go off the top of my head. Let's scroll through it. Man, I'm drawing a blank.
Did anybody else from the SEC lose a coach? That's it, right?
I thought it was 6.
Vandy still has their guy. Mississippi State still has theirs.
Who am I? Ole Miss.
Pete Golden.
Pete Golden.
Yeah, Pete Golden.
Yeah, that's 6.
Yeah.
Duh. I mean, Lane Kiffin left. But you think Pete's going to do a good job?
I do think he's going to do a good job.
I think it'll be good. I think these guys are going to play with their hair on fire. They're going to host, and that place is going to go nuts. I think they're going to play exceptionally well, and they're going to ride Vaughn Hemingway Stadium. That's going to be a part of that.
And listen, sometimes these things galvanize a team. And again, at this point, Ole Miss is playing with house. What they got to lose?
Yeah, they're going to be going 4-4. They're about to.
But it doesn't matter. And reading some of the reports, like Pete Golden is thought of to be an exceptional recruiter. A lot of people thought he was the secret sauce that made Lane Kiffin success when he came over. So I don't know, if you're Pete, you ain't got nothing to. I think he said all the right things. I think all of the his. Ole Miss released a video when he got announced, and the first thing he said was, "We got everything we need right here in this room. The only guys that matter in this room is us. Nothing else matters. So get after it." I think he canceled his press conference too. I think that was kind of right before he came on here. He was like, "I want to push it all back on. It's about the team. It's not about." So taking the egotistical route, smart thing to do. I do think he's going to do a great job. I really do.
Good or great? Can you reach the levels of what Ole Miss football in this program and operation is as of right now, an 11-1 football team?
I don't know, but no disrespect to Coach O, but Ed Orgeron's got a national title.
Correct.
Sometimes all it takes is a handful of dudes to come to the program and change everything. So if Pete Golden can somehow find his Joe Burrow and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, convince them to come to Oxford, who knows? You rolled the ball out there, who knows what's going to happen? So
this was just we haven't had it happen before in this coaching cycle. We're going to have more of these. This is going to be commonplace here sooner rather than later. But man, what riveting, must watch, must scroll, digital, phone, smartphone, and TV. It was fantastic.
A lot of fantastic tweets from current Ole Miss players about.
And I need to go back.
A lot of funny TikToks.
Some of them, but yeah, a lot of people.
There's a lot of
they going in.
Some funny TikToks.
Man.
Yeah.
The College Football Playoff released their final rankings as we head into this Sunday. We will have our 12-team playoff field set. Ohio State remained number 1, Indiana 2, Georgia 3, Texas Tech moved up to 4, the Oregon Ducks at 5, the aforementioned Ole Miss Rebels at number 6, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Alabama jumps 1 spot to 9, and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame are at number 10. I always throw out 11 and 12 because those are kind of, in my opinion, the bubble teams that whether you're playing, not playing, can you move, can you not move, still have an opportunity to kind of be in the field. And at number 11 is BYU, who will play said Texas Tech for the second time, this time in the Big 12 championship game. And then the Miami Hurricanes, who are not in the ACC championship game, don't have any more games after a 38-7 win over Pittsburgh. They will watch from afar to see how this shakes out. There have been tons of conversation, arguments, and the likes of between Miami and Notre Dame. They met on the field head-to-head Labor Day weekend. Miami comes away victorious. You have one team in Notre Dame that started 0-2, another 1-point loss the following week to Texas A&M, and since then, and for the second straight year, they've reeled off 10 straight wins. On the other hand, you have the Miami Hurricanes, who looked like they were arguably, after the first 3+ weeks of football, the best team in college football. And had a slip up against SMU, losing at home to Louisville on a Thursday or Friday night. But end of the year with the same record. What say you if there's one spot left? Are you giving the edge to Miami or are you giving the edge to Notre Dame, including that they met on the field head-to-head, Miami came away with the win?
And see, that's it was like they played and Miami won. So again, for as much as we thought or we want, because I think a lot of people, including yourself, probably saw this coming. As much as we wanted this expanded playoff to kind of put everything to rest, all it's really done is we don't really have any discussions about the top 6 teams anymore. But 8 through 12, there's a lot of discussion there. And again, we come down at some point, it is still idiotic that there is a sport that makes billions of dollars and the playoff comes down to a handful of people sitting in a room arguing over who's better. It's just stupid. We need to get divisions. We need to have objective things. The NFL playoff picture, there is no debate about how you should get in. There's debates about how you get seeded, which they've changed. But if you win the NFC South, you could be 8-9. You could be the Carolina Panthers and suck. But guess what? That's what we've all agreed to. We're in divisions. You won. You get to be in the playoffs. This is just stupid. Miami's probably going to get left out. Notre Dame will get in. And if you're a Miami Hurricanes fan, how does that sit right with you anyway?
I say this. I've said this. What we started this podcast today saying two things can be true. And for me, two things can be true. And they both can be right. Miami beat Notre Dame on the football field. They have the same identical record. I know there's a myriad of metrics that are in favor of Notre Dame to move them into the field. But if a Miami fan or any Notre Dame fan worth their salt doesn't understand from an objective standpoint that Miami has more than enough say to be in the field because they beat said team that's ahead of them in the field. Now, albeit there's a team that's between them, and from what Hunter Yurchek, the now college football playoff commissioner, selection committee chair, has said, they're not at the data point where they're having to measure each other head to head, but that probably will change relative to if BYU wins and beats Texas Tech. You're probably looking at two Big 12 teams getting into the field there with that, which would probably move BYU into the top 10, and Notre Dame and Miami side by side, where you would have to analyze them more. You've had to dance around and be able to say, hey, we're not at that metric and data point where we can compare those two. It's been more of Alabama and Notre Dame they've compared relative to Notre Dame and Miami. But if that all chips fall where they may, that may happen. Here's the second side of the two things can be true. No matter how many beat writers or fans of college football and look at this objectively and say to themselves, well, man, that team A beat team B on the football field. We can also surmise and say, yeah, but team B has played better since said game and looked like the better team since then. How many times in college football, the NFL, we've seen said team that we know is not better than the other team win the game? Does that make them better? So let me get this straight. Last year, Ole Miss plays Kentucky at home. They lose to Kentucky. Kentucky better than them? Kentucky better than Ole Miss? Florida State. Whole world. Watch that. Dominant performance. 6 days leading into the next following week, everybody thought Florida State could potentially be a playoff team, national title contender. Fell flat on their face. Was Alabama not a better team than Florida State? Especially now, today, as we stand today. So that's what I say. I will never not say that Notre Dame, Miami doesn't have an argument for being in the playoff over Notre Dame because they played on the field. That has to count for something. But it also needs to count for something, the fact that no one in their right mind is legitimately believing that Notre Dame is not a better football team, right? They don't have the talent. Miami can win the whole thing. Notre Dame can win the whole thing too. But Miami, for as far as talent, Messidor and Bain and Corley, the fresh and on time quarterback Carson Beck, the whole nine. Heck yeah, they got dudes, man. Offensive line's ridiculous. They got guys. But it should stand for something that you have a team that started 0-2, lost by 4 points by two teams that are in the top 13, top 12 rather, and their 10 wins have been by double digits, all of them. Albeit a tighter ball game than what it looked on the scoreboard to Boston College, but all 10 of their wins double digits, not been close. So I will have to see it to believe it. I would be shocked if Notre Dame is left out of the field. Now, because of the ranking is what it is, Hunter Yurchek has said that, and he hasn't stood on it, and rightfully so, you can't say that. The fact that teams that are idle, i.e. Notre Dame and Miami, can move without playing. More times than not, from the history of the college football playoff rankings, whether it's the 4-team or the second iteration of the 12-team, this standing, outside of some absolute chaos happening is basically what it is. And as you mentioned, no one in their right mind is talking anything about those top 16. Look, the top 7. We know Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech, Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, they in. Like, we know that. I'll tell you a crime that nobody's talking about. For me, I don't think the committee will let this happen. When Ohio State and Indiana play, I don't care if they lose by 1 or 100. Either one of those teams, they both better have buys. They both need to have buys. Georgia's probably going to have a bye if they win. Texas Tech is going to have a bye if they win. I think the only teams that potentially could move into those categories, and they have to be blowouts, are Oregon and Ole Miss. But the fact that you're playing that extra game, that should be a data point of the fact that you just need to be competitive in the game, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Switching gears to Alabama. 2.5-point underdog on the road Saturday. Yours truly will be there. Kaylee Tinglestad will be there as well, covering that game. I was discussing this with Alabama fans, and I just believe that win or lose, they're in. I just think a win against them, the host, I think there's no chance they can have a bye, but they can be in the 5 spot or whatever to be able to get a home game inside Tuscaloosa with a win. They lose, I believe they're going on the road. However, there's this notion that if they lose, whether it's close or a blowout, they may not make the field. The only way I think they don't make the field is if they're not competitive on Saturday.
But see, even then, I think that's crazy because if they don't play the conference championship game, then they're in. Correct. So it's like, again, it goes a little bit to what Sarkisian has said about Texas. It was like, hey, we have a third loss because we lost on the road to Ohio State. If we don't play that game and we play one of these cupcakes, we're in.
And Notre Dame has the same. Think about it.
Yeah.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Notre Dame just played a lesser opponent.
Yeah.
And they're 11-1. They're in the top 4.
Yeah.
Right now. Period.
So again, it goes back to this was kind of the argument that I had last year against SMU, which is does the strength of schedule matter or if it doesn't? Because I do think Texas now has a legitimate reason. You can look at the Texas Longhorns and be like, they beat A&M. Like, they've beaten some good teams. They've been competitive. They also have gotten better since the beginning of the season. Why are they not in the mix?
Here's what I will say with that, though, a caveat to that. And this is why I believe this committee this year has been kind of all over the place relative to the first year of the college football playoff in the 12-team field. Here's the one thing I will say, Patrick. The one thing I've appreciated with this committee, they've overcorrected a couple of times and put people in their right positions. Albeit like Alabama, in my opinion, this week moving them to 9. To me, you need to move them to 9. But I really do appreciate because you got a lot of people that really either coached it, played it, or have really watched it in that room in Grapevine, Texas this year. And the very reason why you mentioned Texas at 9-3, why they shouldn't be in the fold, is the very reason why I respect where they're at. Because let's be brutally honest. I was there in Commonwealth State or Kroger Stadium or Kroger Field in Lexington, Kentucky, where a goal line stand there from Kentucky or whatever, they should have lost that game. Mississippi State. So there's games that you didn't play well relative to the losses that you have. But on the flip side, didn't you just beat an undefeated team last week at home? You got some big wins. Now you got the doors blown off you against a Georgia team the second half. But let's not act like that's not one of the best wins in college football, beating the previous undefeated Texas A&M Aggies, right? So I understand where both sides are coming from. Here's what I ultimately think, and I just think this is going to be one of those years, and we're going to have some of those years every so often. I just think the field is so crowded because teams have had a lot more quality wins than we had it a year ago. I think, like, if you look at the 3 SEC teams that were lobbying to be in the field at 9-3, all of them had holes in their game. Ole Miss, you can't lose to Kentucky. And South Carolina, you can't get your doors blown off in a couple of games. And Alabama, you can't lose, you can't get your doors blown off and dominate against Oklahoma. You don't lose that game, you're in the field. So I just think this is a unique year relative to the first 2 iterations of this, that we have this. But I think that as we move forward with scheduling and a little bit more schedule and conference adjustment from conference games going to 9 games now. And now your non-cons are going to be like big time opponents. You can have a little bit more of a balance of it all. I think that I don't think you'll see this as much. I could be wrong, but I think we're still getting our sample size relative to what this looks like as we head into year 3 and year 4. But it's going to be fascinating because, you know, we as we transition before we get out of here with our conference championship games. So, you know, there's a scenario, Patrick, where the ACC could theoretically be out of the field. Duke is hosting Virginia. Virginia wins. They're going to get the bid within the conference for being a conference champion. But you're not guaranteed to be one of the highest ranked conference champions, meaning that you may play a first round game. The second part of you're going to. You're not in the top 4. But if Duke wins, there's a possibility that a Sunbelt James Madison could sneak into the field. And then, of course, the winner of that Tulane and North Texas game is going to be the group of 5 highest ranked that's going to get into the field regardless of that anyway. So the SEC could potentially be out. BYU beats Texas Tech. BYU is going to get in. And if you're a Notre Dame fan or a Miami fan, you need to be highly concerned because somebody's going to be left out or both may be left out. And Alabama's in the field, and that's it. Yeah. So there's a lot of scenarios there. Conference championship week is going to be fun. Friday and Saturday rather, and then of course the selection show on Sunday. We'll get out of here on this conference championship games. Quick picks. Indiana, Ohio State. I think it's going to be an unbelievable game. I'll have to go back and watch it after the fact. Your thoughts? Who you think is going to win, or who are you just leaning toward right now?
Ohio State.
Do you think it's going to be a blowout, highly competitive game?
I think it's going to hover around 7-14. I think
Indiana. I am leaning toward the Hoosiers. I think that they're going to put on full display. I think they're going to play very well. Now, I think Ohio State's defense is hell on wheels.
Yeah.
But I just think the collection of what Kirk Cignetti and that group has as far as balance on offense and defense, the wide receivers, the running backs, the offensive line, they're going to be highly aggressive. I'm leaning Indiana in that one relative to, and there's no, Ohio State has shown that they're, to me, the best team, but I think this is going to be a classic Big Ten title game. I really do. I think it's going out to the wire. Ohio State blows the doors off them. Man, look out, man.
I'm just betting on the fact that Ohio State has
just better players.
3 of probably the top 5 players in the country.
That's fair. and I also believe the winner of the quarterback that plays the best, Julian Saying and Fernando Mendoza, is going to be your Heisman Trophy winner. I think Fernando Mendoza right now is the leader in the clubhouse.
Oh, you're not going with Pavia?
No, I don't think. Listen. I think of any of all of the years in the last 20 years or so that there could be a wild card where somebody comes out of nowhere and wins it. I can see Diego winning it. But I just think Fernando has played so well on an undefeated team. If he goes and rips it up against a win or losing effort, and in Indianapolis in the Big Ten title game, I think it's his Heisman to lose. I will say this before we go into the other conference championship games. I think there's going to be 4 guys that are going to make it to New York. I think it's going to be Fernando Mendoza. I think it's going to be Diego Pavia. I think it's going to be Jeremiah Love. And I think it's going to be, it's tough. I'll give the slight edge to Julian Saying at Ohio State. But I think those are going to be your 4 guys. And I think the Mendoza is going to win it. I'll even go with the order. I think Mendoza wins it. Pavia's 2, Jeremiah Love 3, Julian Saying 4. I think Jeremiah Love probably could have, cooked the books a little bit and had a few more yards and had a big day against Stanford. You didn't need to do that. But yeah, I'll give it to Fernando Mendoza to win it. We shall see.
I'll go Pavia.
You go Pavia.
I think
he's well deserved.
I think it's just the stats. I think Mendoza is the only one that has anything that could. If he throws for 4 bills, 4 touchdowns, they beat Ohio State. Give it to him. But
did I say Pavia will finish second?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
think either one of them winning.
Yeah, I think you look at Pavia. I also think he has been sort of Vanderbilt's been a really cool story.
I think if as crazy as this sounds, I think if they were 11-1 instead of 10-2. I would really lean toward him winning it.
Yeah.
If you beat Alabama on the road, I think you probably going to have to hand that over to him for sure.
Yeah.
SEC championship game, Georgia, Alabama. You will go with.
Give me Georgia.
Me too. And
give me Georgia.
And we gave the slight edge, I believe, to Alabama on the road at Georgia earlier in the year. I'm not concerned from the standpoint of like the walls are crashing down, the house is on fire with Alabama. It just seems like they're not, in my opinion, as a whole, just a little bit here and there, not playing the very best that they've played after that duration of after Florida State through, let's say, maybe the Vanderbilt game.
Yeah.
Ty's been awesome this year. I think there's some things on the back end from a defensive standpoint from DCs that have that they've done some things that have gave him some issues as far as a snap of the ball. One coverage is one thing, and the coverage is not on the back end. That's confused him. Don't think he's seeing it as well as he did early on in the year. This is just from what it's worth. I'm not any kind of quarterback guru or anything like that, but just from watching TV tape, 22 tape.
They've not got the ball in Ryan Williams' hands.
Yes, don't know what that's
MIA.
about. Hadn't even dove into that. Running game looks like it got a little bit better. I was impressed with number 4 running the football midway through the second half of Saturday's game. Hate that Jan Miller looks like he's probably going to be out of this game. Couldn't bear any weight. Was on crutches in the Iron Bowl when that happened in the second half. Would love to. If you're an Alabama fan, you'd love to have Cuevas back to help anchor an end of the offensive line. They really missed him. Didn't see Brailsford out there a lot during the Iron Bowl, in and out of that standpoint. It's almost like, and this is just, Alabama fans may agree with me, it's almost like they're limping to the finish.
Yeah.
Relative to peaking at the right time. Whereas I look at a Georgia team, I think they're continuing to get better. Now, Gunnar Stockton did not throw the ball exceptionally well against Georgia, but give credit to Georgia Tech and that team playing exceptionally well, played them well 2 years ago in that overtime thriller. But I like Georgia to win the game. I think they cover. Don't know the point spread, how many they win by, but I like Georgia to win that one on Saturday. Mountain West game, Tulane and North Texas. I know you probably hadn't watched a lot of those two teams. I've watched Tulane. I've only seen a quarter or so of North Texas. I know I've watched a lot more of a cut up of their quarterback at North Texas with Eric Morris. I'm going to go with Summerall, hometown native. I think they win that game. They're going to go to the playoff. Be super, super cool for him. You say,
yeah, give me
just Tulane.
Yeah.
And then Big 12 championship game. BYU, Texas Tech. Texas Tech absolutely blew the doors. The game was not competitive in Lubbock earlier this year. Can BYU make it competitive, or better yet, can they win the game?
I think Texas Tech. Again.
I think this is going to be a blowout again.
I think Texas Tech is a team that no one's really talking about.
We are not discussing them, and they are grown.
Yeah. And I think they're are
coming. Now, we talked about it in the summertime. Remember,
yeah.
Oklahoma, Texas Tech. We talked about Texas Tech because of the roster and the accumulation of talent, grown people that have played a lot of college football on that roster. That's why we were like, be careful with this team. And they've came to fruition and showed us what they are.
Yeah. And I mean, it's, this is, they are the poster child for what the NIL can be. You get a lot of money backing a football team. This is, if you want to win games, you can buy wins. This is how they do it. And no one's really talking about them. I think Texas Tech's going to make a lot of noise in this college football playoff.
Going to be interesting. Last game we'll get to just really quick. Duke, Virginia. Can Duke pull it off?
I'm going to root for the chaos.
I think Duke can pull it off. I think
I just want the chaos. Let's get it.
Could you imagine? And here's all you need to know: the people in the desert, those smart people over in the desert. Virginia's only favored by 3.5.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
I will just leave it at that. Like, subscribe. We are back, folks. Spotify, Apple iTunes, Take After Take. Give us a good 5-star review there. You can find us also on our 48 Sports Zone app, on WAFF.com as well. We will release this. You're listening to this right now. We release these on Thursday mornings or Friday mornings as well. We'll take a look back next week as we have the Field of 12 set. heading into the college football playoff. They'll have first round games on the 19th and 20th, and then we'll crown a national championship champion mid-January. So that'll do it for us. We hope you all had a fantastic Thanksgiving holiday. I know everyone's getting ready for Christmas. For producer Pat, I'm Carl Prather. We will see you back here next week.